So before we came on here tonight, we were talking before the show started about 2025, how that may look. At this time, the taping of this recording here in October, what do your 2025 NASCAR racing plans hold?
I know we'll be back at the track next year at the races we wanted to run this year. So speedways, Atlanta's. We may throw in, one or two more. Not quite sure yet. On the Xfinity side, I'm just waiting to see what all happens. I don't plan on, I know I won't be running anything full time. I guarantee you that. I may run a race here or there. Just kind of see. I want to see where everything falls once all the deals are done and just see what's out there, right? So we'll know a lot more. The deals, that I would be a part of will be a January, February type thing if I was going to do anything. So we'll just see what happens next year.
So you see a lot of guys too. Like one that comes to mind immediately would be Brendan Gaughan, where he stepped away from that full-time seat, enjoyed running the super speeder races for a very long time. Is that something you see yourself wanting to do over X amount of time or years to come, running those super speeder races and being a part of those cup fields?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely been fun with the next gen car, even though it is expensive. It's nice that I know I can buy the same thing Hendrick has. Obviously, we don't set them up the same way. That's a little bit difficult, but we had the same equipment, and fortunately, I've got I think I'm rolling up on I don't remember how many starts. I got 350, 360 NASCAR starts. So I think Cup I'm somewhere around 100 to 150, but fortunately, I've got a lot of seat time. Let's put it that way. And one time we figured it out, and I'd driven around the earth almost four times in a NASCAR vehicle. So been here a little
Wow.
while. But it's I think for me, I could see myself doing exactly what Brennan did and running the speedways. Who knows the next 10 years, right? Like it just I don't have any end in sight. Let's put it that way.
I love that. BJ, last thing for me. I don't know if Dominic's got anything else before we move on to our next segment here. With where you're at in this organization and these races you've been running and everything here, when you're not racing, are you still enjoying watching the product? Is it hard not to be at the racetrack, and whether it's not being a full-time owner or not being a full-time driver, do you still enjoy the product what NASCAR's putting out, even when you're not there at the track?
Yeah, a very honest answer on that is I really enjoy it at home. I love keeping up with it, and because I've developed so many friends over the years and so many relationships, and like I said, drivers, crew members, owners, everybody, right? Like all the media. Like I had a blast with Bob at the kickball tournament, right? Just talking and hanging out, and Rutledge was there. Like it's just I miss being around everyone. So watching the races is kind of my way to keep up and then still talk during the week. I have RC car races at my house now on that indoor track and invite some of the NASCAR people over, usually once every 2 weeks, something like that. But, I'm definitely keeping up with all of it. I will say being at the track and not being a full-time owner, I have no interest in it. I definitely walk in the garage and I'm like, you know what? I want my own trailer here, right? Like it just feels different. So I enjoy the races I go to, but traveling to them or being there, I just don't have it. I just don't have any interest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
definitely.
get that.
So I got two things here. We'll go with this first one. You're kind of piggybacking from a couple of steps back. So talking about Daytona and Atlanta and all these races that you would run. One of my favorite things to ask the guys that run a Daytona, they just have the 500 plan or a limited schedule. If they were to win the Daytona 500, would plans change to run a full season now that you're going to be locked into the playoffs? I ask you that. If you were to win Daytona or Atlanta, would there be a scramble in the 78 camp to get you full time and be in the playoffs?
Yeah, I never say never, but I'd say never to that. Is not no interest. I don't want to ever be in the playoffs and not be competitive, right? Like it's just that series, man. Like it's the best in the world. When you get to those tracks that aren't super speedways, it's a whole nother level, right? It's
Sure.
super speedways are very difficult in their own way. They're a craft. You have to be very good to win them, but they're their own craft and they're not the whole playoffs. Let's put it that way.
There you go. And lastly, you're mentioning about things you would never do. What about a broadcast or an analyst role? Is that something that interests you, or you'd like to see yourself in a booth or calling the races on MRN or any kind of media capacity someday?
Yeah, Mike Joy brought me up for just a short, I think, couple minutes. Hung out with him and Clint at Talladega, and getting to see everything that, those guys do during the broadcast was really impressive. And I like a challenge, and I would definitely enjoy doing that to some capacity, but I've never been approached for it, and I don't know if it's in the future, but I definitely have a lot of respect for all of that, and would enjoy the challenge.